What's up, guys? Obviously, it's Captain Obvious, and welcome to the Armory. In today's episode, I will be reviewing the ACW-R from the Close Quarters expansion pack. This weapon is unlocked via the Done Fixing assignment, which requires you to get 20 AT rocket kills and 30 kills with carbines. The rocket kills must be with either the small or the RPG. Just remember that. To begin with, let's go over the statistics for the ACW-R. The damage on this weapon is 20 to 16.00001. Drop-off begins at 8 meters and ends at 50 meters. Shots to kill in core mode are 5 to 6, and in hardcore mode, that drops down to 3 to 4. Wow, 20 damage for your maximum out to 8 meters, that is ridiculously low. It may be for close quarters combat, but take a look at that minimum damage. 16.7 for your minimum damage gives you the same amount of shots to kill as an assault rifle. It's one less than a regular carbine, but you have to remember, that is an extreme bonus over the other carbines. You are more effective at longer range than a lot of the other carbines in the class, except for arguably the Scar H. So, the ACW-R is designed for long range combat, and that's where it should be primarily used. And look at me in the gameplay right now using it in Operation Metro. But you know what I'm saying. ACW-R is a great weapon for longer range, and that's where it should be used the most often. It's most comfortable at longer ranges, its recoil patterns are controllable, it has the damage profile to match that longer range combat at 16.7, will give you a 6-shot kill out to anywhere past 50 meters. It's just a great damage profile for a longer range weapon, and that's where the ACW-R really shines, and I recommend you guys using it in that situation a lot. It's not as good at closer range because of that 5-shot kill. It can still hold its own, however, if you get those headshots because of its faster rate of fire than some other weapons. Rate of fire is a fast 800 rounds per minute. Muzzle velocity is 500 meters per second and maximum range is 750 meters. You can fire this weapon on full auto and semi-auto mode, and its suppressive effect is 7.0%. In order to make up for the lower close range power of the ACW-R, it has an 850 round per minute fire rate. This actually lets it compete in closer range just in case you will, not be able to hold your own because of that lower damage per bullet. 20 damage per bullet is low. It's really low for a weapon like the ACW-R. So having that 850 round per minute fire rate actually lets the ACW-R compete in closer range. It's not as effective as, let's say, the 900 round per minute fire rate of the MTAR or the 800 round per minute fire rate of the M4A1 coupled with its 25 damage. It's not great at closer range, but its 850 round per minute fire rate is still ferocious, and you can still cut people down if you hit all of your bullets on target. It's extremely important to do that because one missed shot is another shot that the enemy hits on you, doing more damage, killing you faster. So the ACW-R is not suited to close range combat as much as another weapon, even though it has a faster fire rate than almost every single other carbine in the class. Muzzle velocity and range both do not speak for the ACW-R well. They are both lower than a lot of the other carbines, and the ACW-R is made for longer range combat. So you may think that you will have a weapon that is suited for longer range combat with faster muzzle velocity and longer range. That's not true, but that's still where the ACW-R is most comfortable and where you guys should be using it. Normal reload time is 1.85 seconds and empty reload time is 2.50 seconds. Cancel time reloads are 1.5725 and 2.125 seconds respectively. Threshold is 0.85 and magazine size is 26 rounds plus 1 in the chamber. Reload time is fast, and that's great for the ACW-R. It actually makes it sort of better at closer range because of that shorter reload time, making sure you have your magazine topped off. And now speaking of the magazine, it's a low magazine size. 26 rounds for a normal magazine plus that 1 in the chamber when you have a bullet still left in the gun is low. You'll expend the magazine really fast. 850 rounds per minute at 26 rounds in the magazine. That magazine goes by fast. It's really, really quick. So you gotta save your bullets and make sure it's always topped off for the worst situations that you can run into in closer range. Up to this point, all the statistics have been showing how the ACW-R is not good in closer range. Now we're getting into how the ACW-R actually functions in its real role, long range combat. Recoil patterns are nice. First shot recoil is 2.5, center speed is 18.0. Recoil up is 0.2, left pull is 0.1, and right pull is 0.3. Now the accuracy on this weapon is phenomenal. That is aim down sight standing. Your aim down sight standing accuracy is the best in the class next to the M4 and, maybe one or two other weapons. While moving and aim down sights, your spread is terrible. Do not aim down sight, fire, and move, or at least try not to do that a lot. You will be really hindering yourself at longer range. Hipfire spread is bad. Compared to a lot of the other carbines, the hipfire spread is actually worse than a lot of the other ones, even worse than the bonus you get with a bullpup. So, do not use this weapon hip firing unless you are in hyper close range combat where it can work. The gameplay quality in the recoil pattern testing is actually better than it is for the rest of the video. Let me know if it looks any better, please. It's with a new capture card. I want to know if it actually makes it look a whole lot better, which is my main goal. Alright, so the recoil patterns for the ACW-R, like I said, are great. They are primarily shooting to the right, which is easy to control if you pull the stick left and down. However, there are better ways to control the recoil pattern, such as with a foregrip, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. As you can see, the spread values are really good for the ACW-R while aimed down sights. It does get worse when you hip fire with this weapon, as you can tell with the demonstration coming up right now. It is not as good as some of the other carbines, but still, if you're in closer range fighting, it's your best option because the aim down sights will really make you slower at firing. Now let's go over my recommended attachments focused on controllability and maintaining accuracy out to long range. If you had to choose one attachment to use for the ACW-R, it would be the heavy barrel out of all of them. Increase in vertical recoil to a .236 is not too bad of an increase. The increased drop-off distance to 75 meters and muzzle velocity of 600 meters per second are not in the statistical sort of overview on the website. I know it's there, but it's not showing up. I'll just include it anyway. You will also decrease your aim down sight spread to a value that is better than the assault rifles. It is a phenomenal increase over those weapons, making the ACW-R great at long range. So the heavy barrel just gives a huge increase in accuracy over the default ACW-R. There really isn't anything I can say about it. The vertical recoil increase is not too noticeable. It's great. The spread is awesome with the ACW-R with the heavy barrel, and it's the best attachment overall for this weapon. This is also a good time to note how quickly the magazine is emptied with this weapon. It's really, really fast. It's pretty bad, actually. Yes, I'm recommending the foregrip, but it is not a necessity. You do not have to use the foregrip on the ACW-R. Its left pull goes down to .067, right pull goes down to .201. The increase in aim down sight spread is not that bad, actually. It only gives you a .1 increase to a .4, which is actually the same as the rest of the carbines by default. It's not that bad of an increase in spread, and you can actually live without it. It's not as bad as, let's say, the foregrip on the M4, but it's not that bad, and it's actually usable in some situations. There are two paths you can take with the ACW-R. One is controllability, and the other one is accuracy. The foregrip brings you down the controllability path, making it easier to control that recoil. It's not that necessary. The controllability of the recoil is actually good compared to before when the foregrip is added. But just remember, if you have to use the foregrip, put the heavy barrel on there to negate that accuracy loss. It's extremely, extremely important to get that accuracy up. The laser sight is actually a good attachment for this weapon because of the already lower hipfire accuracy, making it a little bit more acceptable, but it's still not great. Like I said before, the ACW-R by default has some bad hipfire spread, making it, even more useful at longer range because you don't want to use it at closer range because of the lower hipfire spread. The laser sight actually helps negate that a little bit. It actually goes down to possibly the default of, like, say, an M4. It's not that great, but it's there so you can use it if you absolutely need it. Now let's go over my recommended class setup for the ACW-R. Between the two paths of controllability and accuracy, accuracy outweighs controllability for me. You want to maintain the already great long-range potential of the ACW-R, and with that comes the heavy barrel, the best attachment for this weapon. The class itself is simple: holographic sight and heavy barrel. Nothing more, nothing less. Use this setup and you will excel greatly with the ACW-R. You can add a bipod in there if you want in the primary slot. It's not necessary, but you can still do it if you really want to. This class really doesn't require too much explanation to tell you guys exactly what its function is, because you guys can already, completely understand what it is. Sorry about the gameplay without the actual setup that I recommended to you guys. This is pretty much the best long gameplay I have right now for the ACW-R. It's a long life, and it will let me talk for a little bit longer than I would with if I'd only had like a 30-second or 45-second life, and I had to, you know, extend it with a few different clips. But this is easiest for me. It's fine. As a matter of fact, the red dot sight is not that bad of an attachment. The precision it offers is great for the ACW-R. I just like the holographic sight a lot better, and I'll tell you guys why. Holographic sight provides a 1.5 times zoom over the default 1. I think it's 2.7 for the red dot sight and the iron sights. So when you attach a holographic sight on there, it is actually a phenomenal increase in longer range potential. With that 1.5 times zoom, you can see out a little bit further than you otherwise wouldn't be able to with a red dot sight or with the iron sights. It also has a nice clear sight picture, and the actual reticle in the holographic sight is smaller than it is with other weapons, meaning you have more precision than you would with a different holographic sight on a different weapon. The size of the holographic sight's reticle depends upon what weapon you're using. For the SCAR type weapons, it's extremely big. For the ACW-R and for the M16 and things like that, it's extremely small. So you get a nice bonus with weapons like this with the holographic sight, and it's always recommended you guys use the holographic sight over the red dot sight when it has that smaller reticle for the increased precision over the other holographic sights on different weapons. It's a lot of explanation to how the holographic sight works. I apologize for that, but you kind of understand what I mean. Provided longer range potential with the increased zoom, precision is still there, making it a great attachment for the weapon. I've already explained that heavy barrel a lot to you guys, so it really doesn't require too much more explanation. You gotta remember, heavy barrel increases accuracy, making its long range potential that much better. It also makes your muzzle velocity and range better, and by range I mean drop off range, so you'll hit that minimum damage out to 75 meters instead of 50 meters. It's good for a quicker kill, but the ACW-R is extremely consistent, and there's no getting around that. With a 5 to 6 shot kill with the ACW-R, no matter what range you're at, you know, 5 shot kill out to 8 meters, 6 shot kill out to 50 meters, or 75 meters depending upon which attachment you have on your weapon. It's an extremely consistent killer, so you will probably kill in the same amount of time at pretty much all ranges, and you should actually expect that from the ACW-R. Consistent weapon, great at longer range, and if you can learn how to use the ACW-R properly, it can become the best weapon in the carbine class if you stick back and hit all of your shots on target and just exploit the strengths of the ACW-R a lot. As a matter of fact, this class setup I used for the ACW-R actually was great. I performed extremely well with the ACW-R in this class setup, and it's actually better than I perform with other class setups. It's a great setup, and I recommend you guys using it a lot. The foregrip there is available, but I don't highly recommend it. I just recommend it. It's there if you really need it, but I don't fully recommend the foregrip because of its decreases in the accuracy are a little too much to gain that increased controllability. And that is it for today's episode of the Armory. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I apologize for the long video length. 14 minutes is a really long video. I really apologize for that. The ACW-R just requires a lot of explanation to tell you guys exactly how it works, because it's actually a pretty unique weapon in the carbine class. And actually, I also want to test my new internet speed, 10 megabytes per second upload. I want to see how long it takes to upload a video like this, so you know for the future how long I should give myself. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you learned something new and useful, and you know how to use the ACW-R better in all situations. Next episode, I will be covering the A91 carbine, which is a pretty good weapon if you use it properly. Remember to follow me on Twitter, link is in the description. Thumbs this video up if you enjoyed it. And as always, rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.